Let's get ready. All right. It's Gino Spot. Sit down now. Get yourself a drink. Sit down, relax. Let your stresses fade away. It's time for Gino Spot. We're nearly ready for you. We're just fiddling around behind the stage. We're just fiddling backstage with the buttons. Don't just step into the circle, you feel shy. You feel all the fuss. Why? And everybody's looking, don't you? 'Cause you've mystified us.
Relax, sit down. Coming out of PE town. Drink, find a shot. Never mind your liver. Get to Gino Spot.
Gino Spot!
Get to Gino Spot.
Gino Spot!
Have a laugh, have a giggle, and exercise your middle. Have a Gino shot.
Gino Shot!
Get to Gino Spot.
Gino Spot!
Get to Gino Spot.
Gino Spot!
Have a laugh, have a giggle, and exercise your middle. Get to Gino Spot.
Gino Spot!
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Gino Spot. Indeed, Thursday, the 14th of April. Fantastic. On our Easter weekend is hooking up, getting ready. We are hooking up the trailer for the Easter weekend. It'll be fantastic. It's going to be a little bit of a break for everybody. Get your family together, and hopefully without COVID to interfere too much anymore. I had my third booster today, actually. So I'm still, I don't know, nothing's grown out of me just yet. I'm going to check it out. But fantastic to hear that Eastern Cape, I think, they're telling us that we are getting into herd immunity. Herd immunity, like a bunch of maniacs. Here we go. Very good. Ronald Minnar is awake and going early in the morning there in New Zealand. Lovely. Welcome, Ronald Minnar. Lovely to have you on board. It's good to have people from all over the world watching Gino Spot. The advantage of the internet, of course. And thank you to our sponsors, of course. Spar, and I'm wearing my Spar t-shirt as well today. It's the most beautiful virtual challenge. Last year was Limitless. This year it is a different theme. They are going to be we're having meetings about the new virtual challenge, which is the Spar virtual challenge. You can run from anywhere, anytime. Well, actually, on that day you run at any time on that day between 6 and 8 or something, or 6 and 6. And then you basically run however far you want to run, and you record it and you post it on the interweb, and then you can run the Spa Virtual Challenge and be a part of it and get your medal and your T-shirt and all sorts of stuff. It's been great fun this year. They're going big. They're going big indeed. And then also, of course, make sure that you subscribe on YouTube to Gino Spot. We are an Eastern Cape. It's all about the people of the Eastern Cape. That's what this is about here at Gino Spot. We are always we always expanding on our guests, getting new people in, interesting people to talk about, but they've always got a link to the Eastern Cape. And if you want to be a part of the community, this is what we got to do these days. That's right. The internet and YouTube is the best way to do it. And what I'm going to do is I'll show you what to do. You just click on the link that is in the comments. We're going to put the link in the comments, okay? Then you go there to Gino Spot like that. You see there, and you'll see there on the right hand side it says subscribed, and you click on that little bell. There we go. We've put it in the comments so that you guys can do it. Go and do it, and then tell me if you've done it, because YouTube is the best way to watch this thing. It's the best one to use. It reminds you when every Tuesday and every Thursday, it'll remind you that Gino Spot's happening, tell you who's on, so you can pop in and have a look and say, how's it, to whoever I'm talking to at that particular time. And even if it's on a Wednesday or a Monday, which we can't, sometimes we do it on a Wednesday or a Monday if we can't make the Tuesday, Thursday standard times. But go there and subscribe. You can see it there. Subscribe on the right hand side. So YouTube is the best way to watch Gino Spot. Make sure that you do it. do it, babies. All right, so ladies and gentlemen, tell me where you are watching from, and also tell me where what you're drinking, because I've got to organize yourself a drink, sit back and relax, and get yourself maybe even something to eat. I've got a little bit of, we've got some croissants here. Look, it's a beautiful croissant from Fat Cat's Catering. Thank you very much to Grace from Fat Cat's Grace from Fat Cat's Catering, always organizing a little bit of food for us as well. Wonderful. And of course, I'm having a little bit of Fitch and Leeds. Fitch and Leeds, one of our sponsors too. Thank you, Fitch and Leeds. And of course, Keith Clark has given me some punters. Can you check the punters here as well? We got a punters. I think punters done him very nicely. Done excellent, Ronald Murrah. Thank you. And it's a great one, because you can actually Londres. Is that where you were? Is it London that you were watching from? Is it Londonium? That's what we Romans say, Londonium. All right, ladies and gentlemen. So send me your comments. Tell me where you're from, what you're doing, what you're drinking, and I'll sing it for you. Aha, that's right. A little bit of 80s. Well, my friends, the time has come. Raise the roost and have some fun. Away from slop station poles, let the music play on. Camilla Ellis is there everywhere. She says hi everybody. She's cuddled up in bed with a good book, and also your TV with YouTube, so you can sing along. I said yeah, party, come on and fiesta forever. Come on and subscribe on all night long, all night, all night, all night long. Greg Con from Joe Davis, locksmiths. You still at work? To get started, we can slow down. That's right. I had Greg Con and also his guys on. They'll help you get your doors open. If you've locked your keys inside the car. Oh. Somebody they said before ya. Hey, Jumbo Jumbo. Oh, oh, Jambola. Somebody has said before ya. Hey, thank you, Spot. Our sponsors also Fitch and Leeds. We're gonna have a party all night long. Well done, well done. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Gino Spot. Indeed, we are ready and champing at the bit to get to our guest tonight, Mr. John Rushmere. John is, of course, very well known in the town because he's designed so many of the buildings, as well as being involved in all sorts. So let's not waste any time in getting our special guest on, Mr. John Rushmere. Let's do it.
Welcome to the show. Now it's your time to shine. We're gonna have a lekker chat tonight. Another good time.
All right, have a good time indeed. John Rushmere, welcome onto Gino Spot.
Hello, Gino.
Fantastic to have you on. We've had you on the radar for a while, John, but you know you disappeared to Cape Town, so we had to find you first.
I've been working in Durban.
Yes, I'm sure. But John, gee whiz, how long have you been down there in Cape Town?
A couple of years now.
Wow. Okay.
We got here literally days before lockdown.
Oh wow. Okay, so just before.
And
So
the
two and a half years.
about 4 or 5 days after we got here, so we squeezed in.
Wow.
Started off in Camps Bay, and we've moved to Tumblerskloof.
Tamboerskloof. So that's where, it's sorry, say again?
I said this home.
Oh, dis hom, daai sê, Tamboerskloof. It makes me think of tambourine, tambours. So it must be a drum. Tambourine. But no, John, so and I mean, obviously, you've retired. You retired from work a little while ago. But what have you been doing with yourself since?
No, literally enjoying that retirement. Our 3 children and their children are all here in Cape Town. We get to see a lot of them.
Oh, that is a good reason to move down there. If you're going to move away from PE, that's a good reason to move. Is your family?
It was the only reason, because difficult to leave behind a lifelong friendships with my friends in Port Elizabeth. I miss them.
For sure. I'm sure you are. But I mean, you're not one for sitting around too much. I mean, have you had some projects that you've been doing as well?
No. I put down my tools and that's it.
That's it. No more contracting. No more.
I'm calling time. Yeah. I do miss the university, because I was strongly connected to the university, to the Department of Architecture. And
yes.
I miss the students. Yeah.
Well, I think it was last week when we had two shows ago. I think we had John Smallwood on.
Yes, John. Yeah.
Yes.
Good friend.
Yes.
A good friend and a good colleague. Yeah.
Well, he was very interesting to have on. I can tell you that. He's another story. I see Tao Lu is saying hello there. Hello, Professor Rushmere.
Who's that?
From Tao Lu says there. So it must be a student of yours, maybe.
Yeah, it could be. Yeah.
Yeah, and Mike van Vieren, that's Fires. Cardinal Puff for the first and last time, he says. You'll have to tell us what Cardinal Puff is. I don't know what that's all about.
Who sent that one?
Mike van Vieren. That's Fires.
Mike, you're on the ball.
He says last time Viva Bang Ho.
Yes,
what is that?
Viva Bang Ho. Now, Viva Bang Ho is part of Cardinal Puff. Yes, to the health of Cardinal Puff. Viva Bang Ho.
Is that like a drinking thing or what?
That is, it's a drinking thing, yeah. Yeah. It gets you into lots of trouble.
Oh, right. Okay. Oh, Teresa, she says, Tao Lu says it's Teresa.
Oh, Teresa. Yeah, no. Teresa's a star.
Oh, is she? Okay.
Architect, lecturer.
Oh,
yeah. And now a doctor. Nogal.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, really? Okay.
Just been awarded her doctorate, yeah.
Wow. Well, congratulations, Teresa. That's excellent news. We hope you make loads of money, now. So, well, John, it's obviously Cape Town's been relaxing, but it's been quite a tough time during COVID. So you guys have probably it's coming to the end of the lockdown. So at least you can start enjoying yourself a bit.
No, we still enjoyed ourselves. Now, we weren't very obedient, but we tried not to endanger people, but
yes,
we were very relaxed about it.
Good,
getting down onto the beach with the kids and so on.
Oh, lovely. Family time is.
The grandchildren.
Yes. Yeah, that's good. They tend to do that. They can be quite a handful, and I think they get handed over to the grandparents eventually, quite a lot.
That is a tendency.
Brad Paul there. Brad Paul's online. He says chop and dop at Gino Spot indeed. And he says, Brad Paul says you're looking well, John.
Thank you, Brad. Yeah. Thank you.
And there's another one from Grant Kunica. He says, pity I was at UPE before John joined, so I had to go knocking on his door for crits. Is Grant also architect?
I hope I put you in the right direction anyway. Yeah.
I'm sure you did. All right, let's go back into the history because it's already coming through, John. Where were you born? Where did you grow up?
I'm a Port Elizabethan, man. I was born there. Okay. Went to school at Woodridge and then Grey.
Yeah. Okay, so you were at Woodridge as well.
University. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So even junior school Woodridge and then on to Grey for high school.
That's it. Yeah.
Okay. And were you always? I know you were quite sporty as well, always, and you enjoyed your rugby and.
No, sport is a great passion of mine.
Yeah.
It's didn't matter what the sport was. I loved it.
Just do it. And was your family? I mean, what did your father do back then as well?
I believe He
Yeah.
was a rugby referee, but I only
Oh.
met him when I was 7 years old because he had gone off to war when I was born. I started the
Wow.
Second World War. You know that, Gina?
Gee, was okay. No, I didn't know that. Yeah, you
I
started it.
started the Second World War. I was born on the 1st of April, which is a foolish date, and
Yes.
and the war started on the 1st of September. I must have had something to do with it.
Hell's bells, man. And well, happy birthday for 2 weeks back then, eh?
Yeah.
Man, so for the first 7 years of your life, you didn't see your dad. You was, man, and because
No,
I mean,
brief leave, he might come out, but I don't really remember any of that. Yeah.
wow,
And then
man.
when he arrived back, I went off to boarding school with my brother, my elder brother,
Okay.
my late elder
Yes.
brother. We went off to
Okay.
Woodridge, and from there on, it was boarding school all the way through. Yeah.
Wow. Somebody was talking about boarding school and saying that some people would say that they would send their kids there, and others no ways. It's like it's either one way or the other, you know.
It's an unwinnable argument.
Yeah, yeah. The
really
advantage.
is. Because there are
Advantages.
advantages and disadvantages to both.
Yeah, yeah. And I mean, sorry, did Grant go to boarding school as well? I can't remember if
Yes, he did. He
it
did.
is well. Okay, did because
Yeah,
the first 2 years.
He went to Woodridge after
Okay,
the
yeah.
preliminary years, and then on to St Andrews.
Okay, so you were boarding school, eh? and that's I mean that is often a kickstart for any sporting people that the boarders. That's what they do,
because
you know.
fill your hours, the extra
Yeah.
hours you fill with just kicking or hitting a ball. Yeah.
Yeah, it's true. It's true.
Not
And I
hitting
mean,
it.
because I remember, I always had a story about going to play Queen's College with Clarendon Park, because I was at Clarendon, of course, with Grant, and then and I remember they absolutely slaughtered us, man, because the borders were so bloody good, you know. They got that
Yeah.
time to spend.
Yeah, it's not comfortable getting slaughtered at any sport.
No, it wasn't great. I think we were all out for 11. I think they put us in again.
Well, I wouldn't brag about that, you know. I would keep
No,
quiet.
well, you know, if you've never got a century, well, you just got to go the other way around. But John, so okay, so and academically, I mean, were you quite focused at school? Did you enjoy it?
You know, I wasn't that focused. I had a godfather who said to me, John, your school years are going to be the best of your life. Now, so what you need to do is do just enough work to get through and enjoy yourself.
Yes,
I'm not
that's
saying
not bad advice.
I'm not saying I followed his advice, but
Okay, right.
yes, I did enjoy boarding school. Yeah, I did.
Yeah, yeah. Because I mean, if I speak to people that they're either that sort of focused personality where they can really with your studies and that you could sit and focus, or but ADD a bit out there.
I'm not sure about the studies, but we did a lot of kicking balls around and that sort of thing.
It wasn't like your note from your teacher, John is a daydreamer, you know? That's what I got a lot. Gino Gino's always looking out the window.
I never got one of those.
Oh, you didn't? No, well, then you must have been fine. Good academic, good focus.
Yeah.
And then then obviously at school you were playing sport. Did you play in any sort of, did you get any
No,
sort of provincial teams or anything?
no.
Okay.
I was a very ordinary cricketer, quite frankly. Even though I played a bit of provincial cricket, I reckon I was
Okay.
fairly ordinary. It was after school that I really fell in love with rugby. I was passionate.
Okay.
Still am passionate.
And when you left Grey, where did you go to then?
Cape Town University.
Okay, so UCT, Ikeys.
Yeah.
All right, because actually, Grant said that you played rugby with UCT there, because it was quite a big thing at that time. And I know we've had a couple of guys on, including Fires, who was talking here now, saying that the club cricket, the club rugby, the club soccer, the clubs were big in the early days.
Yes, very true. Wonderful.
Yeah.
But university is very privileged. You know, there were a lot of talent there, and we played some really good rugby. We
Yeah.
won the Grand Challenge twice, which in Cape Town is quite difficult.
Yeah.
With Stellenbosch as competitors, and of course,
Yeah.
great clubs like Hamilton's and Villages. It's a tough league. So to win it
Yeah.
twice was quite a feather in our cap. Yeah.
Yeah. And those varsity games were big as well. They had lots of support.
InterVarsity, wild. I mean,
Yeah.
it's it used to be very, very big. Now, of course, they've got the University Cup and Shield and so on.
Yes.
And that's thinned out a bit. But
Okay.
in the days that I was at university, it was was big, very big.
There's a message just popped on there. It says Keith Clark, who's Keith is the one who gives us our punters gin here for a bit. But Keith knows everybody. I think he says, "Good evening, John Gino from a cold Cape Town. Were you not lock at rugger? Seem to remember. Did you play lock?
I played lock. Yes.
Oh, there we go. Keith is remembering. He's remembering it.
I had no option. I was just under 2 meters tall.
Yeah. Well, apparently the Rushmeres are all tall like that, and so I mean, was the Rushmere the Rushmeres in general was that an Eastern Cape family? Where did it originally come from? Was that Grahamstown area? Was it? Are you one of the Albany English guys?
Yeah, my grandfather, he was up in. He had a farm and a shop up in the Transkei near Butterworth.
Okay. Yes.
And they moved from there down to the Grahamstown district. And then my dad, because my uncle, also an attorney, had established himself in Grahamstown, my dad moved on to Port Elizabeth. And that's how our family came to be,
Okay. So it was kind of up there, frontier farmers vibes.
That was.
Was it? So because we've had a lot of. Because Ethel Trollope was on a little while ago as well. He's also proudly he says he says but it's always but and swar and that whole thing with the thing. He says.
When you got a poor memory for names, which I have.
Yes.
It's lovely to be able to say hello but or hello swar.
That's exactly, and they're very good, and that's why I'm wearing my pineapple suit tonight as well, to in tribute to the Bathurst area, Bathurst and and Kenton and whatever, and they say there's so much rain they're pulling the pineapples out with the prawn pump. Oh man, I see just a couple more messages here. Is Graham Grant saying hello. He says wonderful to see you, John, looking good as well.
Thank you, Graham. Yeah,
Graham Grant.
Yeah, Graham is a student of mine.
Oh, okay. And Keith says you knew Cullen's family very well. Nice to see you, John, as well.
Yeah, thank you for that, Keith. Yeah.
Is Cullen your brother?
Yeah, he was my brother. He died a few years ago.
Okay. Now, was Cullen the one that had Karika?
That's it. That's it.
Okay. So I remember that, and then Murray Finley used to work there as well. I used to see him from time to time. I saw him a while ago, and I gave him a good rev at one of my shows. Old Murray, he doesn't mind.
Yes, the Finleys, of course, joined up with the Rushmeres to Mark marrying Lauren.
Yes,
Finley.
of course. Yeah. Murray's sister. Yes, that's right.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
And I see Thea Bishank is on. Thea is saying that John Rushmere is an absolute legend. I remember having a second-year design lecture at his house. It was so inspiring. Thank you, John, she says.
Hey, thank you. I appreciate the words.
That's Thea. And there's our DA councillor as well, Dave Hazelden, saying hello.
Yeah. I used to bump into him at the Clarendon Park. He
Yes.
would walk his dog. I was walking my dog. Keep up with
Lovely.
the work.
For sure. Because I know that
I can't hear you much. Grant has just given me a thumbs up here. What?
Oh, okay. Yes.
Oh, okay. Oh.
Okay.
Yeah, Trevor and Susan are on from the UK. They're great friends.
Oh, excellent. I was just say hello to them. They're
Yeah, he's
watching
a
you
very-
live on their TV.
Yeah, he's a very fine photographer. He's done wonderful wildlife photography. He was the official photographer for the Kruger National Park, in fact, for sand
Wow.
parks and for Natal parks. So
Wow.
hello, Trevor. Hello, Sue. Yeah.
Excellent to have everyone as well. And then I see Keith saying Onion Row in Walmer. Nice spot that, John, indeed.
Yeah,
And
that's-
but we'll talk about the architecture later. When you left school now, John, did you go straight into architecture? Was that always going to be a thing for you?
no, that's an interesting question.
Yeah.
I didn't really know what I wanted to do, but there were three clues, really.
Yeah.
One was I was fascinated by blueprints, which are the prints of architectural drawings.
Yeah.
And then we had a science textbook, which was quite interesting. It was an A4 format, and on the left-hand side was the text and all the information. On the right-hand side, we had to draw experiments. And I used to make it 3D, get the spheres to look like spheres and the pipes to look like pipes. And my drawings were always held up as an example to the class. So I had a bit of drawing skill there.
Yeah.
And the third thing was that of all the disciplines in our maths schedules, I loved geometry the most. And always got very, very high marks for that. So there were three clues there sort of pushing me towards architecture.
Yes.
And I took a year to make certain, a gap year where I worked in Port Elizabeth for a firm of architects. And that confirmed what I wanted to do. So,
Which firm did you work for back then?
Simpson and Hugh.
Oh,
Simpson
okay.
and Hugh. Simpson and Peter Hugh.
That must have been Hugh Road.
Yeah, I think it was probably the same family, yeah.
Yeah.
Well known in rugby circles.
Okay. And so you took that year. That's quite a big step for like a 18-year-old. What were you, like 19?
Well, in a way, it really worked for me because I had stretched out a bit. And in that year, I put on weight. My body got stronger. So when I arrived in Cape Town, I was ready for rugby.
Okay.
Yeah.
Gee whiz. So you got it, but also I think it's the confidence, and whatever you choose in that sort of line, it gives you, like you say, you knew that the rugby was going to be lekker and was going to be good, so it gives you that confidence, like I can do this, if even if everything else fails, I've got something to go get back on,
I mean, Cape Town is a great tradition, and a great tradition of rugby, and we were privileged in having so much talent available, but it was great rugby. I mean, the rugby crowds at club games, anything up to 20,000 people, unheard of today. Yeah. In fact, one of the provincial games I played against Western Transvaal, we ran onto the field, and there were streams of people leaving the field because Cape Town University had played in the main curtain raiser. And
really?
they'd come to watch the curtain raiser, not to watch Western Province.
So actually, the varsity games were better attended than the provincial games.
They were very well attended.
Gee whiz. And so okay, so I mean, you get down to Cape Town, you built a bit of confidence from this, and you went straight into architecture. I mean, would you have done art as well? Are you?
No.
Have you done anything like that?
I was never that good at art.
Okay.
No.
My mother would have said, "You just didn't try properly, John."
Yeah, Jenny. Well, I know Jenny so well. I hope she's well.
No, she's, it's like my mom. She always say as long as you follow in what you love, that's your main thing.
Sure.
So clearly you were focused, and I know even my wife Philippa now, I say that she knew she was going to become a teacher. So you knew you were going to do architecture already, and that's a very that's quite rare. Like you said, you took that gap year, but you had the foresight to do that, So that's a very focused thing to do as a youngster.
It was more really. I wasn't that certain, and that is why that is why I stuck around for a year. I didn't want to make a big mistake.
Okay.
But
Okay.
so that 1 year was the proof that I needed.
Yeah.
That's where I wanted to go.
And who was helping to guide you back then? Was that your mom or your, or, you know, or
Not really.
your
Not
Right.
really. It was something I had to make up my own mind.
Gee, was
Our
that-
headmaster at the time,
Yeah.
he favoured that decision. He thought that was
Okay.
where I should be going. So I did have some support.
Okay. Okay. Good. Yes.
Yeah,
All right. Yes. Who was the headmaster? It was a grey then, you say?
Flash Gordon.
Flash
Flash
Gordon.
Yeah.
My word. There we go. Chanel Deacon, Chanel Edgar is saying, lovely to see you, John.
That's so sweet of you. Thank you.
Who's Chanel? Who's Chanel now? Is that a family of yours?
No, she's not a family. No,
Oh,
no,
okay,
no.
okay. No, I see Davina Coombs as well saying, Davina watching from Wimbledon this evening. She moved overseas just recently.
That's quite right. Yes,
Yeah,
My God.
she was.
that is really interesting.
Yeah, it's crazy. The best thing about this is that people can watch from anywhere, like literally anywhere they are.
I really didn't
So-
know that. I thought this was
Yeah.
very local.
No, well, it's about PE, but
Yeah.
you know the expats are out there. Once PE, always be PE. You know what I mean?
That's it.
All right, and then you know you start. How many years the architecture degree? Is that 4 or 5 years?
It used to be at Cape Town University 6.
6 years. Okay.
Yes, the
Gee
1
whiz.
year was an out year where you were expected to go out and work for a year and travel. So it was
Like a prick.
five academic years.
Okay.
And that's pretty much what it is today. Same thing.
Yeah. Did you have any mentors? Any mentors? Any guys that you looked up to back then with that sort of?
Oh, yes, no,
with
that
the
was,
degree?
but that was postgraduate.
Yeah.
Postgraduate, I was very fortunate. I moved to Johannesburg. I had to get out of the comfort zone of Cape Town. It was far too comfortable. I needed to challenge myself. Went to Joburg and shifted from the firm that I was working for and went up there. I shifted across to join a group of young guys. They were older than me, around about 3-4 years older, but they'd all studied in America.
Okay.
And they were my mentors in a way. They called them the
Yeah.
young Turks of Joburg, and I sort of hung in there and benefited tremendously from that relationship. Anthony Longer,
Yeah.
I'd love to mention their names. Anthony Longer,
Yes, please. Yeah. Yeah.
Anthony Longer, Willie Mayer, Glenn Gallagher, all talented people. So I learned from the best.
That's great, you know, and when you are in an industry like that, to have that group, you know, that little bunch that work together and that you're thinking of new ideas, you're pushing each other, you know, almost all the time.
That's exactly, you've got it. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I know my son has got himself a hot desk now at down in Central, and they've got a whole lot of guys that they hire these hot desks, you know, and they just sit and it's like a hub. I think it's a great plan, you know, that sort of thing, you know. He's just got out of school.
Excellent.
Sean,
Yeah.
I'll say. Sean Paul says, John, any relation to Colin and his son Mark? Yes, I think that's your nephew, and Colin's your late brother.
My late brother. Correct, yeah.
Yes, an EP opening batsman with Philip Am.
That's correct. So don't remind me about Colin. That's my brother's name. He and Jeff Dakin,
Yes,
another character from the Eastern Cape. The two of
absolutely.
them, I was playing for Western Province against Eastern Province at Newlands. And the first wicket fell, wait for it, at 312.
Bugger. You know, that's like Clarendon Park versus Queen's College.
And I was bowling.
Oh, shit. That's even worse. You're worried about me telling my bad stories about cricket, John. I think you might have topped mine. Oh, I love it.
Yeah,
I love it. But
it's at least I'm part of a record.
yes,
Even
you
if
are.
I-
Yes. I don't know if congratulations are in order. There we go. Alec Riddle says hi there, and he says a great contribution to the city.
Oh, well, thank you, Alec. Yeah, you're a star, man. Yeah.
And so, okay, so then finished off your varsity there, went to Joburg. Did you start working in a? There's Davina saying, how's Shirley? I also want to find out how's Shirley. She was chirping when I was talking to you the other day, but she doesn't seem.
She's inclined to chirp. No, she's 100. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Oh, brilliant.
Yeah,
Well, and hello to you, Shirley. I hope. Say again?
No, I said thanks for asking.
Yes,
No,
Shirley. I don't know if she might be watching at home, but if she is, Shirley, I also want to say thank you for what you guys did for us little buggers when we were younger, because like I said to you, that I was talking earlier, they're saying that they really the moms at that time really gave up a lot of their lives to and their kind of dreams and things that they wanted to do for the kids, you know. It was the done thing at that time.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, so for sure, and Shirley, you're a legend too. And I mean, okay, so we're at the point where you're now sort of looking for work. You finished your varsity. You're with those guys.
No.
Yeah.
If I was still in Port Elizabeth, I think I would still be connected to the university.
Yeah, no. I'm saying for no, when you were if I finished varsity, after you finished varsity.
Oh, sorry.
At UCT, and then you had to find work, I suppose. Or those guys.
The professor of the
Yes.
School of Architecture, he asked me to come and work for him, and during that year, I realized everything was far too comfortable. I was still a student, effectively, in my mind, and
Yes.
I knew I had to get the hell out of it. And I still had some ambition sports-wise, so I couldn't leave the country. A lot of my friends went off to England, to London.
Yes.
And the furthest I could go was Joburg to challenge myself. I knew nobody there.
Yeah.
And Shirley and I were engaged at that stage.
Wow.
So I left my fiance behind and all my friends that in digs. I ventured up to the Big Bag Apple. And and that's where things began for us. Soon after that, we got married, and then I decided to move from where I was working because these young Turks that I talked about, they quite liked the work I'd done, my thesis and so on, and they invited me to join them, which was quite an honor and so on. So which I then did, and I have to say, I was the pupil, they were the teacher.
Really,
and, that's where I really grew as an architect. It's really my postgraduate experience.
Yeah, I always say if you the experience is your top learning, the top of your learning. Once you jump into a job and you're in the deep end and you've got to swim.
Yes, better to prepare yourself properly, get fit.
Yeah.
And so that pretty much was it. As I say, it was like a postgraduate course in architecture. They were 2 or 3 years ahead. They were a Wits culture. They came from the Wits University. That's where they qualified. And they studied, as I say, in America under Lou Kahn, who was a leading architect of that generation.
Okay.
And so they had a lot to offer, as teachers.
Yes.
So I was very fortunate.
Yeah, that must have been amazing. And you're right in the thick of it, So, what was the first project that you really got involved in, got your hands dirty, and you were sort of proud of?
Now you're testing my memory.
Come on.
I really can't remember. I'm sure it was a dwelling of some kind. I'm sure it was a house, but I can't remember.
Okay. So did you start with that? Do you enjoy what is the project? What are the projects that you enjoy doing?
It doesn't matter. The design process is the same. So in a career, I think most architects will do quite a variety of building types.
Yeah.
Certainly for me, that's the case. Commercial buildings, university buildings, school buildings, residences, the cricket stadium in Port Elizabeth, and so on. So
I find it fascinating because you've almost got to put a different. You have a completely different sort of vision of what the use of the building is, and then also then and still make it look beautiful. And it's just like it blows my mind. It really does.
Yeah, well, actually, you put your finger on it. You know, the whatever the purpose of the building is,
Yeah.
it is very important that the architect really interrogates what are really just names of rooms. For instance,
Yeah.
you know, if in designing a house,
Yeah.
the brief might be living room, dining room, open kitchen,
Yeah.
3 bedrooms, a couple of bathrooms, and some garaging. That might be the brief.
Yes. Yes.
But for the architect, those become places to eat, places to cook, places to sleep. So they
Yes.
become place which human occupation, human action, human activity, and
Yeah.
it should be a celebration of that. And buildings should be a celebration of the things we do.
Yes, absolutely, and doesn't that then give you, because I've just in my up to my 50th, I'm 52 now, and you know I've just developed a love for the way things are designed. And an architect, you can see immediately if an architect has been involved in something or if they haven't been, you know, because it's just that guy. He's gone there. Okay, nee, luister, ek was dis 'n vierkant en met 'n triangle op het, en ek was vysbriek. Ek soek vysbriek, jy soek die bloody verfie. But
Well,
you know,
Gino, it's an architect. His working life is in the public eye, and of course,
Yeah.
everybody has got an opinion about buildings. They all know their stuff, and this one likes it and that one doesn't like it, and so on. So you're in the public view all the time, you know, as doctors and lawyers and accountants and other professions. You're tucked away nice and safely in your offices, in your surgeries and whatever. But as an architect, you're out there catching flack.
yes, because once you've done something, it's right out there, and it's like some of the projects that you've done have been absolutely amazing. I mean, the stadium was one. I think I sent you a photo because I was looking at that stadium, and I want to know, John, what was the inspiration? Is that a little bit of Bauhaus in there? Is there a little bit of Bauhaus?
No,
Is there not?
No, the Bauhaus.
The shapes.
The Bauhaus was 1920s.
Yeah, no, but I was thinking like it goes in. Doesn't that whole thing? I love the Art Deco and the Bauhaus and those things. How they influence things, you know.
Yeah, well, no, that's the stadium arises from from the forces at play in the environment, the park. For instance, just to give you an example, if you're interested.
Yes, I'm interested in what your inspiration was and why you did it, because then I can look at it next time I'm there.
Well, the cricket followers are just another minority in the city, and the people that use the park cover quite a lot of the minorities. And so to just put the back of a stadium bluntly overlooking the park and dwarfing it was not on. So it was a challenge to build a friendly building, which is the back of a pavilion. Hence the brick wall with the vaults, arches. Everybody likes a colonnade. And so it's a friendly structure. And then at the top, which they've stupidly obliterated, I had a long walkway at the top of the brick wall. So people could get up and walk outside into the north sun and have a smoke, look down, chat to people in the park, calling up what's the score, that sort of thing. And that unfortunately has gone now, so people didn't understand. But then I make it a point of not going back to the buildings I designed. Once they're built,
really,
all things can happen. So I tend not to go back.
Then you get irritated because there's no walkway.
No, they don't belong to me.
Yes,
you know, I've got no right to be irritated. It's just that I prefer to remember the building as I think it should be.
Yes. Because those things, and the way architects always talk, they talk about the language of the the building. And the thing. You know, they've got their own words that they use.
Yes, jargon is dangerous. I try and stay away from jargon, but language actually is a word that is appropriate, because the expression of a building is a form of language. And that's how we understand buildings.
And I mean an Onion Row as well. Of course, was the other one. You stayed there for a long time as well. And I see Mike van Vieren is commenting here. He says, how long would it normally or ordinarily take to design a building like the Duckpond Pavilion?
Well, we didn't have time. We were given the commission 1 year from being complete for a match we played against. I think it was the West Indies. The West Indies or India. I can't remember who played the first game. So we had 1 year, and whatever the Eastern Province Cricket Union lost, if we were late, we would have to cough up the professional team. So the race was on. I mean, I was working from 3:00 in the morning for many weeks, just to keep up with the pressure of what needed to be designed and served and so on. Yeah, that was hectic.
Yeah, would you say that was the hardest you've ever worked?
That's the hardest I've ever worked, yeah.
Really?
I worked right through Christmas Day, New Year's Day, Old Year's Day. I worked right through the lot.
Your family must have loved you. Where's John? He's working again. They don't understand, John. They didn't understand.
Yeah. No, that's when I started work at 3:00 in the morning. Because I had about 5 guys helping me draw, and I needed to inform them. That's kind of 7:30 in the morning. I needed to go there and inform them of the work ahead. There was no time for pens down.
That is crazy.
No, it was exciting. It was exciting and worthwhile. Great experience, actually. Great experience.
But and it's
unfortunately, I'm just going to throw this in here.
Yeah.
A bit of interference from the client, and they forced a change in the specification, which is why that stadium rusted within 4 years. In fact, I got it spot on. I warned them that because they instructed us to change the specification.
The steel.
Nothing to do, and they wouldn't hear of the reasons why you couldn't have a paint finish. Somebody who worked for them had said, no, you don't need to galvanize, you can just paint. The trouble is, the journey of the journey of a piece of steel from manufacture onto a building site, I mean, it's got chains around it, it gets chucked onto concrete floors, there's no paint on it, it just starts to rust. Anyway, that's enough of that. Let's get positive.
Yes. The galvanizing. No, I know the vibe because that's actually touching on something there with the architect and then the builder. You know, it's the two guys, and one's like such a practical oak, and I just want to get this stuff here and get it built, and then the architect's like, oh yeah, the double volume here, and then this, you know, how do these people ever match up?
Yeah, no, we had a wonderful builder, a wonderful guy. He was the foreman, the head foreman on site.
Who was that? Can you remember his name?
Harry something. I'll think of it before the end of the show.
Okay.
But a wonderful guy. And without him, it could never have been achieved. He was so organized, special.
Was that is a massive book. It is big. I mean, it's not, but you like I say, it's not imposing. It's just, it looks beautiful. And it's, if we look at your stuff, you've got a certain style, have you not?
Not really. No, not really. You know, each site, each piece of landscape is different, and the briefs are different. You know, the function, the purpose of the building is different. And a lot of these differences inform the building ultimately. So people might think I have a style. I don't have a style. No. Style is a word I don't like.
Oh, right. Sorry.
Well, you know,
I won't use that again.
No. The old clients who approach architects and say they want this style or that style. The word style really is just labeling a way of building in certain areas of the world.
Or you mean putting it in a box?
Or certain periods in the world. So you talk about, for instance, the colonial styles, Georgian and Victorian. That really refers to the buildings of that time.
But so you prefer a time thing, but
No. I'm saying that we build in the present. If you're building now, you build in the present. You design in the present.
I need to put it in a box, John. I can't have this. I can't have this airy fairy stuff going around.
Let's talk about something else.
No, I'm joking. I'm joking. Wendy Nell says, "Do architects now have to focus on sustainability? Is it a choice, or there laws in place to enforce it?"
That has become a very, very powerful shaper of buildings. Good, very, very good question. It wasn't an issue when I was practicing. It became an issue after that. And yes, certainly, architects have that responsibility.
Yeah, it is a responsibility now. It's because we have to. Yeah,
And there are bylaws and regulations, national building regulations, that push you into that way of thinking about buildings.
Okay, and then there was I'm sure was there a house in River Road that you did as well? Halfway down I'm just trying to think now, because I'm in Thomas Road, and I always look at this house and I wonder if it was you that designed it.
I did do a house there.
Yeah.
Yes, I did a house there.
I'm pretty sure. I think it might have even got an award. I think Flinton. I thought it was maybe Flinton.
It did get an award. Yeah, that's
yeah.
right.
But that's because so you wouldn't say if somebody could look at a building and say, "Oh, that's John Rushmere." Is there anything about a building that they could say?
I don't think so, Gino. I honestly don't think so. My buildings really are very, very different, and really have to do with the circumstances, the particular circumstances of each one.
Yeah. Okay. I see that Sean Pauls has got a question here. He says, "Are architects aware of the longevity of their skill that plays such an important role in one's lives, from their designs and the memories it instills? For example, Castle Corner."
Castle Corner?
I don't know if it's still called
Castle
Corner.
Castle Corner? I don't think buildings last as long as they are useful or loved.
Yeah.
And, that's up to the future. One doesn't specifically design to last beyond 100 years plus forever.
Yeah. Gee whiz, so those bloody Egyptians were pretty good then at their stuff. But John, what are some of your favorite spaces in PE that you can remember?
Wow, that's come out of the blue. That's difficult. Well, I'm going to leave my own work out. I did love living in Onion Row. I mean,
Onion Row, yeah. Well, with the peppermint grass, I believe. Mike was telling me peppermint grass.
Peppermint grass. What?
There was some.
I think I know what he's talking about. Yeah.
Okay.
There is a grass which when you walk on it.
Yes.
What is it called? Penny something.
Okay. Somebody in the comments can think of the name, but apparently you walk on it and then you smell peppermint as you walk in along.
That sort of thing. Yes. I'm not sure if it was peppermint or what it was, but there is definitely. It's not really a grass. Hasn't got blades. It's got small leaves, small round leaves. When you walk on it, it releases a beautiful smell.
Lovely.
But I don't know what that's got to do with my architecture.
No, it's got nothing. No, it's just that he remembered that. He just remembered that.
No, he's absolutely, or she's right.
Penny Royal, there we go. Is that the one? Camilla Ellis says.
He's got it, Penny Royal, and he planted it in Onion Row. That's quite right. Okay. She's right.
Wow.
Reminding me of something, yeah.
You know, we're testing your memories here. And so yeah. Other than your own buildings, then obviously, and your favorite places in PE.
Well, can that include landscape?
Yeah, absolutely.
Because non-buildings is also very beautiful, and I'm rather sad. But the Donkin Reserve, if only it had been left as a simple meadow, with the
Yeah.
grass swaying in winds and so on, and instead of all the so-called art works that clutter what is just that simple hill. That's one of my big regrets. I think the Donkin Reserve really was special. Somebody once called it a balcony to the sea, and I think that's a wonderful way to describe it. Quite
Simplicity
unique.
then.
Yeah, yes, to keep it simple, instead of which it's become, as I say, quite cluttered. But yeah, I love that space. Of course, I love the beaches, again, open air, so on. I would have to think about buildings, what buildings I enjoyed. The Feather Market has always been spectacular.
Beautiful. Beautiful.
It then changed a bit
Yeah.
when it was turned into a concert hall.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
Graham Grant is online here. He says, John, your buildings are identifiable by your attention to detail and purpose. Nothing to do with style. There we go.
There we go.
That's his take.
Now, Graham, thank you for that. Listen, Graham was a great guy. There were three friends. He was one of the three. Albert Ace, Graham Grant. I can't remember the third one.
Grant will remember. We'll put it in the comments, Grant.
I do remember encouraging them to create a triple-story building out of the desks that we were given to draw on, so that they could look out the windows that were at sort of fanlight level.
Yes.
And they were told to immediately dismantle it.
Dear. Oh, no.
I thought it's a great initiative, but anyway, wasn't appreciated by the authorities.
I'm sure it wasn't. No, I believe you had a couple of mates here that you used to spend time with as well. What's the boardroom guys?
Yes, you're talking now about the board. No, we call it the board.
The board. Oh, the board.
That's spelled B-O-R-E-D, not B-O.
Oh, right. The board guys.
Yeah, and there were about eight of us, 8, 9, 10 of us sometimes. We'd meet for coffee every morning.
Oh, love it.
We did that for 15 years, whatever. I mean, it was wonderful. We started the day we were all retired and so on. So we started the day having a cup of coffee and a chat.
Lovely. It's just get the conversation going.
It was even known in London. We got feedback from people in London about it.
Fantastic. Oh, who were those guys? So those are your close mates then? Those.
Well, they were amongst my close mates. Yeah, I mentioned to you Jeff Dakin. Jeff was part of that.
Jeff, we've got to get Jeff on the show as well. I know, because he's another character.
He'd be great. Yeah. And he's contributed tremendously to the Eastern Cape. So he's a worthy man. Yeah.
No, for sure. We've had Bella on. Bella's been on. And she's firebrand.
She's a firebrand, yeah. Wonderful. Yeah. Lovely sense of humor. A lot of fun.
Yes. No. That's why you cannot deny that Bella's not full of fun. And so I mean, obviously your architecture stuff. With your what would you say was the most enjoyable project that you ever worked on, like throughout your entire career? Was there one particular one, or was there a whole? I'm sure there were lots.
Well, I have to say that apart from the interference from the client, I really did enjoy the stadium.
Okay.
Having that Harry as the site foreman, and it was very exciting to watch it go up. And we were designing as it went up. So that was a very exciting building to be part of during its construction phase. And then there's a building in Grahamstown. There used to be a building society called the Permanent Building Society.
Yes. Somebody mentioned the Perm building, yeah.
The Perm building, in High Street. I really enjoyed that. Again, had a wonderful foreman. Buildings are not one-man shows. There's so many people that come to the party. The people that you work with in your own office, they contribute. And of course, the contractors have the job of putting it all together, and they do some amazing work. Really, you challenge them with some really complex stuff, and they come up trumps every time. They're wonderful people, contractors.
Yes. I mean, amazing when I see these big things going up with the boxing and stuff that goes into this. I mean, it just the concrete, and it's unbelievable the scale. You know?
Yeah. No. I suppose that's why we go to varsity for 5 years.
Oh, I'm sure. And on the civil side, you didn't do any roads or anything like that. Was your thing?
No, that's
Main
engineering.
buildings? Is
Those-
that different?
No, that's
I mean,
engineering structure. That's very different. Yeah. Very
Okay,
different.
so because I'm a bit of a Philistine when it comes to this stuff.
No, architect was strictly about buildings. Yeah.
Okay, cool. And have you ever been involved in a project? Gary's put a quick note on a project which turned out disastrously for any reason. We need to know that.
No, actually, no. That's an honest
All
reply.
good.
I'm fortunate in not having that happen to me.
Yeah, good. So you always worked with good, because it's normally going to happen in the building process if something falls over or collapses or something.
Yeah. No. Listen, there have been there have been problems in a construction phase, and you just sort them out. You know, and collaborate with the contractor, but not often.
Any specific stories you can remember where it cost a lot of money?
No. Yes. No, not really. No, I can't really say that. You know, you tackle them as they arise because problems arise. Unexpected things happen on a building site.
Yeah.
And you just got to deal with them. So they're just part of being an architect.
That's true. Yeah. Well, I mean, I know you're very well respected. My cousin is an architect, Sean Fogarty. They got Fogarty in Balshaw here, and I said to him, I'm going to get John. He says, he wants to see that.
Yeah, no.
And of course, Sean Balshaw is also married to Kathy Wiseman. We were talking about the Wisemans just now as well.
Okay. I didn't actually know. Yeah, but I know, I know him well. Yes.
Okay.
Nice young escape names again.
You know, yes, and I don't know. And you were obviously at varsity as well you professor at the varsity for a long time too.
Yeah.
Did you start lecturing there or?
Interesting question. When I came down from Johannesburg to join the partnership that I played a part with, when I came down, what was the question again? It suddenly flew out of my mind.
Yeah, no. Where you started out with lecturing at varsity. So
yes, that's right.
You get involved.
The then head of the school asked me to become a part-time lecturer and examiner. So from the start of the school, right at the very, very beginning, I was informally attached to the university.
Okay.
Giving odd lectures, examining and helping the students in the studio, and they would also come to my office and so on. So right from the very word go, and then for a brief period, I helped one of the heads of the school for 3 years. It suited us because it was a tough time in the profession. So I went to full time to assist him, then back to practice, and then towards the end of my career, the staff asked me if I wouldn't make myself available to be head of the school, which was flattering, and I really appreciated their trust in me. And I agreed to do it. So for 6 or 7 years, I was head of the school. Yeah.
That's fantastic, and so I mean, that is one of the people always say that's your legacy is almost is the people that you've helped on the careers, saying. You know.
Yeah, you're so right. I mean, if one thinks about the buildings one has managed to do in one's own lifetime, and you compare that with possibly influencing buildings many times more than the buildings you were personally involved in. It's
exponentially.
So if I helped students, I'm grateful that I was able to do that and set them on a path.
Well, I think some of your students are just say, I see Teresa's here. She's saying, Port Elizabeth is not the same without you, John. She says, thank you for all that you shared with us during your years at the university. You are pure gold, forever grateful to you and Cheryl, she says. That's
Oh,
Teresa.
Teresa, no, but she's special. She is really special. We had quite an advantage over other universities because Teresa was the first year studio leader. She was head of the first year studio. And of course, you are fielding boys and girls that have come out of school that have been force fed, whatever. And they come into the bewildering world of having to create buildings on paper. And it's a huge leap, much bigger than picking up different textbooks that maybe have to do with medicine or law instead of science and history. But with architecture, you're leaping into a blank paper, and you've got to put something on that blank paper that's got to make sense. And she did it wonderfully. She actually was the foundation. I've said it to her and others. She is the foundation of our school. Teresa was very special. She's an artist as well.
Oh, lovely.
And now she's a doctor. she's
got a doctor and
a doctorate. A doctor.
Yes, of course, yeah. And that's fantastic, and I like to see where art and architecture comes together as well. That sounds good. Mike van Vieren, what are your thoughts on the PE Rugger Stadium? Is that the new one? He's talking about the new. I wonder if he's talking about the new one or the old one that's been demolished.
He's talking about the new one. The old one has slowly been falling apart.
Yes, it's disappearing brick by brick.
And that was not a successful stadium. I don't want to go into that, but it wasn't really worth hanging on to, really.
You mean the Butt? You're talking about the Butt now.
Sorry to say that, but the other pavilion, yes. I mean, it's spectacular. It's in the mold of so many other stadiums around the world.
Yes.
Very evocative. And it works. It's. You've been there, have you?
Yeah, I have, and I must admit that it flows. When you're walking in there, the crowds literally can get out there very quickly. It seems to flow nicely the way that they've designed it.
It's something that's moved with the times, and so I think it's an asset to Port Elizabeth, a great asset, and I'm glad that rugby has found its way there. And sharing it with football.
I need to do that. Is there anything that's commonly misunderstood about architects?
Oh, I think so. I think there's, even by architects, I think there's a misunderstanding. Because ultimately what it is, are human action. It's human action being married in a way to the landscape. Yeah. And so you really got to understand the landscape. You've got to interpret the landscape in relation to the sun, the movement of the sun, and not through analysis, but rather through, as I say, interpretation and understanding. And then one gets this brief to just go back to the average dwelling, 3 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms, this, that, and the other.
Yeah.
The first thing I used to do was think of them as bedrooms as places to sleep, a kitchen, place to cook.
Yeah.
And of course, a dining space is a place to eat. And so you put the human being in there and you begin to then translate the action into space. No, that's, I can't give you
it's a different way of looking at it, You have to so always look at it or step back and look at it from a different angle, to try and get.
Yeah, Gino, every landscape, even a flat piece of sand in a poor suburb, has invitations and has opportunities to do something worthwhile with it. And so the landscape is something that one really has to understand. Really understand and then what you're doing is you're merging human action
Yes.
into the landscape. That's what architecture is. It's
Well, I was listening to a podcast the other day about geology, and they were saying that the geology of the land as well, even from the rocks below the earth, filters through. If it's coal or whatever, then the miners live around that area, and then that becomes a mining area. And so that almost like the geology of the land makes or makes what's going to happen on top.
No. I just concentrated on what was on top.
You're on top, yeah. No, that's a better idea. I don't know how deep it goes, But okay, so I think we must have a look now, John, at the getting to know you questions.
Getting to know you, getting to know all about you.
All right, these are just like they can be unrelated questions, but they always dig a little bit deeper into your personality as well. So we say if you could switch lives with one person for a day,
Ooh,
who would it be?
We got one of those sort of questions.
Yes, we got to test the team here.
I have no clue whatsoever. I've never been into politics.
Yeah.
I've been consumed by sport and architecture, basically the two passions in my life.
Yes. Wouldn't you like to be some sort of musician or something, or
it's funny you should say that. It's we've never had a musician in our family, and it looks like one of my grandchildren his career is going to be in music. But
I'm so happy.
Growing up with my brother and everybody else in our family, music was the furthest thing from our minds.
Yes, it's this young Luke.
Music is the international language. It's just wonderful.
Yeah.
It embroiders our lives. I mean, music is really, I think, the pinnacle of all human achievement.
It's fab. But now, is that young Luke? That's the musician, because I see he had a piano lesson tonight. I was going to use him to do your tech, and he said I got a piano lesson.
That's Luke.
I'm very pleased to hear that.
That's grandson.
Yes, grandson. Yes, indeed. And I know this, of course, Grant was with me at Clarendon Park. For those of you who don't know, Grant is John's son. He was with me at Clarendon. We were best mates at grade 1 and grade 2. It's called now Sabay and Sabi at Clarendon, which is just, John, just literally, I think about 500 meters from Clarendon here at the moment. Yes, I'm in Thomas Road down at the bottom. So that's where our studio is. So I literally throw a stone there. But I'm very pleased to see that Luke is now then a bit of music coming to the Rushmeres. That's good.
Yes, that is. It's wonderful. And he's been accepted to a music school in Liverpool, which is sort of
magic.
Fantastic. Paul McCartney is attached to it, but people from all over the world applied to get into it, and they accepted Luke, which is a feather in his cap. Because he's already started composing music. I mean, he's already into it.
Oh, good. That's a wonderful thing to have. I see Mike van Vuren saying there that you can link it all together with architecture by saying it's another brick in the wall, because that's a song. So all in all, it's just another brick in the wall. And then, sorry, saying it?
No, you go.
Okay. You go. Something that you've always wanted to try, but you've never had, or if you've never had that opportunity, or you've been too much of a risk, or
No.
any other thing.
No.
Like if you weren't, let's say if you weren't an architect, what would you have been? What would you have done?
I'd probably been a beggar.
Just hang around with a sign.
My imagination doesn't spread that wide. I don't think there's nothing that I've actually regretted that I haven't been or couldn't have become. No,
and talking about that now, John, is because you're into cycling as well.
Yeah, I was. Yeah, but only as a fun thing. I promised myself, because I'm very competitive. So I
Yes.
promised myself I wouldn't enter any races. I would just ride with friends. And it was
So
a really
you just
wonderful.
raced them.
Try it sometime. Get on a bike and go out riding. It's brilliant.
I'm a bit of a runner myself. I enjoy my runs. I run around Walmer.
You go faster
Yes.
on a bicycle.
No, you
cover
do.
the-
You're convincing me, and my mates are telling me I must do this some cycling. All my mates are cycling, so I've been resisting it up until now.
Yeah.
But that's obviously good fun too. Well,
No, no,
what
great.
would you say? What would you say the riskiest thing that you've ever done?
I don't think I've really put myself out there, other than driving at crazy speeds.
Oh, well, that's pretty risky, you know.
Yeah. The Bar Drive was my racetrack here in Port Elizabeth when I was at university.
Oh, you mean Cape Town?
I mean in Cape Town.
Yeah. Oh, Duval Drive down towards town there. Right there. Yeah.
Yeah. Nice bends.
Yes. You know.
Yeah. But I
They're
shouldn't
nice
admit-
bends. Yeah, say it.
No, I said I shouldn't admit to it, breaking the law. But no, I do enjoy, or I have enjoyed driving always. Yeah,
Yes.
enjoyed that. But risky things, no, maybe I was too cautious. I don't know.
You never went down to Scribante and had a go.
No.
Because we've had the Scribantes on here as well.
Yeah.
The two boys.
No,
You
no,
interviewed
I-
them too.
Yeah. Formal racing, it doesn't really grab me.
All right. Now, a question I always like is, and I was going to ask you just now, I actually forgot, but I wanted to ask you, talking about the music. What was so telling questions, what was the first record that you ever bought for yourself? Or the first,
It was Nat King Cole.
oh, which one? So is that why? Is that why? No, it's not.
Yeah. One of the greatest ballads.
Unforgettable. That story.
Yeah, no, he was something else.
He was the guy. He was the dude.
Yeah, he was the first. Yeah.
Okay. And did you get into Elvis?
Remember that was our yeah.
Yeah.
That was our generation. Remember
Yeah.
the great ballad singers like Frank Sinatra,
Yes.
Nat King Cole.
Blue Eyes. Old Blue Eyes.
Yeah, and yes, certainly Elvis was something else. Yeah. He deserved.
And Shirley
his-
did Shirley also enjoy Elvis, or is she more Beatles? Or
Well, through her, I got really interested in classical music. The two of us used to go to Cape Town, the Cape Town City Hall, where the Cape Town Orchestra played on a
Philharmonic?
Thursday night and a Sunday night. And so we used to go Thursday and Sunday.
lovely.
Yeah.
And I mean, are you? Let's say when we look back, I mean, do you long for the nostalgic times, or are you happy to live in the modern world?
No, I'd live in the moment.
In the
Live
in the moment.
Yeah.
It sounds like
Now
it matches up with your architect, your
Now is
architecture
what
sort
it's
of.
all about. Now is what it's all about. I mean, you
is.
can't do anything in the past. You can't do anything in the future. You can only do it now.
Yeah.
Be
It is. Just got to make it work.
Yeah,
And,
that's it.
Graham Grant says, John, you're a legend, and thank you, Gino, for exposing a significant brick in the wall, he says. Thank you, Graham.
Yeah, Graham, thank you. You're very kind, man. I miss you.
No,
I miss you and your generation. In fact, all the generations.
Yeah. No, there's and PE is still going strong. You know, I've got loads of hope for PE. You know,
No,
we've
stick to that. It really is a wonderful city. Aesthetically, maybe not, but it's got so much going for it. The friendliness. It's not the same in Cape Town. Yes, we've made friends, lovely friends.
Yeah.
But the overall friendliness that it's just breathes friendliness and
yes,
something very special about Port Elizabeth. Very special to live there. The people that live there are very fortunate. It might be a little bit of an ugly duckling when it comes to comparing cities and the environments of the cities, but it's still got great beaches. It's
fantastic beaches.
got lovely places inland. It's got
Yeah,
coastal resorts up and down the coast, all within easy driving distance. it's got a hell of a lot going for it. It's got the Ada Elephant Park, which I know it's a big tourist trap, but it's beautiful, man.
Yeah.
It's
It's amazing. It is amazing, and the amount of elephants there. I'm actually going to go and do a gig out there in a little while. I don't even know when it is. Gary's next week. Next week we're going to Addo, so we're going to check out some of the olifants. The olifants. What would you say is something that people would be surprised to find out about you?
Ooh.
Ooh.
Oh. Hell, you do ask, where do you get these questions from?
We've got a couple that we've asked these before. we like to throw in a curveball here and there, John.
Actually, I'm a very private person.
Is it?
I've always been preferred to be out of the limelight than in the limelight.
Yeah.
That doesn't answer your question, but nevertheless.
No, well, I think it's true. I mean, being a professor and out there, you'd think you'd always be
No, I didn't allow them to call me professor. They had to call me John.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
You weren't comfortable with that.
No. That's it was. I suppose in a way being called professor was flattering, but
Yeah.
to be an honest professor, you've got to earn that right through doing a serious document, a treatise.
Yeah.
I didn't do that.
Okay.
So maybe I didn't deserve to be called a professor.
No, that sounds like you're dragging up some sort of childhood thing now. No, I think you're completely deserving of it. If it speaks in your work, it speaks in what you've done, and absolutely, I can be you can be sure that a lot of these the people online are going to agree. But I think it also relates to just it's that formality that you don't really enjoy that much. You don't.
I'm a very informal person. Yeah. I never wore a tie.
Yeah.
And my uniform is shorts. I wear shorts all the time.
Kortbroek.
Now I remember going to. I'm a kortbroeker. I remember going to some hell of a fancy show at the Feather Market Hall. With a black tie. And I pitched up in a pair of dark jeans, black shoes, a blazer, and a white shirt. And a lot of people said to me, "Oh, jeepers, John, I wish I'd dressed like you."
That's exactly. That's true.
I was relaxed. I like being like that.
There we go. Teresa says you were awarded honorary professorship.
Yeah, well,
it says.
She worked for her professorship. She will be a professor. She's actually connected to the. She's a wonderful asset to the teaching world. And she's not only teaching at Port Elizabeth University. She's also been roped in by Free State School of Architecture.
Vrystaat. Well, there's lots of oaks with kortbroek there. Excellent. No, she says that you were awarded an honorary professorship for sure. And okay, so how do you decompress? What do you enjoy? Decompress. Relax. Yeah.
Well, I'm pretty much permanently decompressed now.
Just hang with your grandkids.
No, Shirley and I, we eat out a lot. We really enjoy that. Okay. There's some wonderful places to eat in Cape Town.
For sure.
And I've got to share this with you.
Yeah.
My son stood us to a meal at a restaurant that has been in the top 10 in the world for several years. Yes. It's awfully expensive, but when I got home, I quickly scribbled it on my bucket list so I could scratch it out.
Yes.
It's called Lakalom. It's called Lakalom, and I'm going to charge them for this advert. But if ever you get a chance in Cape Town, Lakalom, you cannot believe what fine dining really is all about. It's the first time and only time in my life. And I'm glad I did it.
Wow. Lakalom. So I'll be sure to come and do it, but I'll take Grant so that he can pay for it as well. Then.
No, the thing is, don't pronounce Lakalom, as a South African. Lekalom. It
Yeah,
is
not
Lekalom.
Lakalom.
It is Lekalom, but it's Lakalom.
No, that sounds like you when you've just finished the Ironman. No, it's no Lakalom, worry.
Yeah.
Oh no. So, do you still keep your hand sort of active with the architectural projects, or are you completely retired now?
I'm
Nothing.
completely retired. No. If people, ask my opinion, to sound an
Yes.
opinion about something, to help them,
Yes.
I will
Yeah.
certainly do that. I will certainly do that and get involved. But no, I'm not into any projects or.
Okay.
If I was in Port Elizabeth, I would still love to be teaching.
Yes.
But that's not to be. Yeah.
Okay. And you're talking about bucket list. You're talking about, is there anything on a bucket list that you'd still want to do?
Well, there are probably plenty. If I sat down and thought about it, but I don't daydream like that.
Yeah. Not like Gino's a daydreamer. Okay, I get it.
No, there's so much in this wonderful world to do. In fact, there's so much in wonderful Africa to do. We don't have to go overseas.
Yeah.
Africa would last a lifetime searching Africa, and because it is a wonderful continent, wonderful people.
Okay, here's some interesting ones here. Do you have a vice that you'd like to give up?
I gave up my vices long ago.
Oh, did you? Oh man!
I don't consider drinking a whiskey in the evenings as a vice. It's
okay. No, it's relaxation.
That's what I really look forward to in the evenings. Is
Little whiskers.
There's a glass of wine. I have a whiskey.
I'm there with you. I enjoy that as well. A little bit of whiskey. Sometimes a gin and tonic, but a whiskey is actually really nice as well. But maybe a soda. It's not too quenches your thirst.
No. Don't spoil it.
So just a little bit of ice and a bit of whiskey. What?
No, a little bit of ice.
A little bit of just a bit of ice.
The thumbnail of water. Just a dash.
Thumbnail. Just to open up the tastes.
Just a dash of water. Yeah, just to open up. You got it.
Yeah.
You knew that, didn't you?
We've got a little whiskey club that we go to as well.
Okay.
There's two whiskey clubs. There's got Lee Petrie and the guys, and of course Tony Lloyd and his bunch, and we have a good time. Okay, so what about your biggest weakness?
Lack of confidence.
Lack of confidence.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have said that.
Yeah,
6 foot
no.
what? You've always been an imposing character.
No, it's sort of. Yeah, I probably hide it.
Yeah.
I probably hide it. Yeah.
So I mean, like, he didn't want to be called a professor. That was one of those, I suppose. There we go. And your biggest strength?
My biggest strength, my word. I don't know.
Yeah. Attention to detail, probably one of them. I see that they have got that. One person was saying that. Are you like a bit OCD?
Naturally, I'll put it this way: I'm a naturally friendly person.
Yes.
I like chatting to people.
Yeah. So people person. That is a strength. That is a good thing. And the most uncomfortable.
Yeah.
The most uncomfortable place you've ever slept?
On sloping ground, above Craddock, in the bush.
Wow.
In the bush. Yeah.
What were you doing in the bush?
We decided it would be fun to sleep out. So we instead of going back, we climbed up onto a ridge, found a sort of approximately flat. It wasn't flat.
Yeah. Okay.
We lay down and went to sleep. Yeah, that's great.
Oh,
It's good.
It's not cold up there because Craddock can get cold there.
It can get cold, but it was the right time of the year.
Okay, so you're lucky. What were you doing out in the middle of the bush? This is a story.
Hiking, walking. Yeah.
Oh,
Lovely.
walking. No hunting. You're not a hunter.
No.
Not.
No.
Animal lover. Lots of animals.
Animal lover, yeah.
Is
Animal
it?
lover.
Have you got dogs?
Yep, always had dogs.
Lovely. Love
Our
it.
greatest friends. Oh, there's
They are.
such wonderful videos, on that come on my phone.
Yes.
Of
On the YouTube.
interaction between animals and humans.
Yes.
Fantastic.
Well, John, the more you click on those, the more you're going to get.
I love them. Keep on coming. Keep on coming.
Those rabbit hole. It's called a rabbit hole. Where you start clicking on this stuff, and then the phone knows that you're clicking on that stuff, and it gives you
I don't
more.
think my friends send it to me. They send it to me. They tell me with it. But I really enjoy it. I just think it's great.
Well, it's so. I mean, other than hiking, what's the most adventurous thing that you've ever done?
I canoed down
Ooh,
a couple of rivers, Together in flood.
wow.
It was hectic and great.
Jeez,
Exciting. Went down the
That's
Orange.
like kayak vibes. I mean, through the rapids and stuff.
Yeah, all through the rapids. Yeah, and I went
Woo!
did the same down the Orange River.
Gee whiz.
Yeah, that Together ride was really hectic. In fact, one of the guys nearly drowned.
Wow.
Um,
You get pinned.
but we all made it through. Yeah.
Sure. Because I mean, that stuff where you get in under a rock and the water's
Yes,
it can
yes,
actually
yes.
pin you.
You've actually put your finger right on it. If you come out of the canoe, make sure you come out downriver, not upriver.
Yeah.
If you come
And-
out upriver, you can be pinned.
Yo. And they say that if you get in one of those things, you must make yourself into a ball. But I don't know if that's really going to work. I think it's kind of like the story about if a shark comes at you got to stick your stick your thumb in its eye.
Yeah, I must say, I came close to that. I came close to being
Oh, really?
pinned,
Wow.
but my height was on my side, and so I was able to get my arm onto the top of the canoe and haul myself up out of the rapid.
Vortex. Gee
Which
whiz,
was
man.
jammed, the canoe was jammed on the rocks.
I bet you Shirley was very happy with having you going down there, risking your life.
I never told her, funny enough.
Well, she knows now. Now you're in the cuck.
No, she's not here. So
No, she's going to be watching you on the YouTube. You can forget it. She's going to be clicking on that, and then she's going to get a whole lot of videos of people drowning in the river. No. Is there anything that makes you really angry?
probably a few things. Unfriendliness.
Yeah.
There's no reason to be unfriendly.
Yeah.
That irritates
Or rude,
me.
I suppose.
Yeah, it's kind of rude.
Yeah.
No, not really. Certainly, cruelty to a person or an animal, bullying of people makes me angry. It's so unkind. Kindness is the most important thing. We should all be kind.
Is anything you've never got completely the moorin about something?
Oh yeah.
On the site, on the building site. Oh, yes, Grant did tell me. He told me that there was a guy with Onion Row. I think it was somebody was staying across the road, and they used to call you. What was it? Breakdown John or something. You just huh?
No, well, if they got it wrong, I just told them to do it again. Yeah. I mean, that's fair.
It was like this. He just watched you from a distance, and all you were doing was this. That's gone away with that. Breakdown, John.
An exaggeration.
Oh, I don't believe a word. No, and okay. So not too much angry stuff though. And are you positive about the future in this country?
Oh yes, most definitely.
Yeah.
Got wonderful people.
Yeah.
The diversity is great. I love the Afrikaans language. one of my favorite things.
Yeah.
And the Afrikaner, they're special people.
Yeah.
And we've got wonderful black people. You've got to look on the right side with proper education and so on. We'd be much better off. So we need to get a good government, but there's nowhere else that I would rather be.
Yeah. No, for sure.
No, I would never, even if I could afford it, which I can't.
Yeah.
I wouldn't leave South Africa.
You go away.
My children, 3 of them, they've been to many places in the world. The only place they haven't been is the Far East, but America, a lot of Europe, and quite a bit of Africa.
Yeah.
And there's no ways that they would leave this country.
Yeah. So they
They
keen
had
on sticking
options
it
to
out.
do it.
Yeah.
My daughter.
Yeah,
married
that's a good sign. I've got great hope for it, especially for this PE side. I think we've got what it needs, just to grow and it's like you said, it's a friendly place. The people are good. If the people are good, it has to go well eventually,
Yeah. And the people, that are complaining the most are the ones that are possibly better off than most of the country. And yet they still complain. It's too easy to complain.
Yes, it is. Alan Fryer is online here. He's a chef, top chef. And he says, always a pleasure to see you at my restaurants, Mr. Rushmere, he says.
I loved your restaurants. I loved your cooking. You were the best, man.
Yeah, I think Alan's down in Port Alfred at the moment, if I'm not mistaken. Alan, I think it was Port Alfred. And he's...
Alan. I really enjoyed your restaurants.
Yeah, for sure. Mike van Vuren says, what a wonderful oak, and the show in showroom condition as well. Good to see you and listen to you, John and Gino. Lovely show again. Well done, chaps. Absolutely. Yeah. And I know, look, you are looking well, John. But you did tell me you had a stroke a little while ago. Is it been a couple of years, or is it?
Yeah, it's a couple of years. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
And he says you're overdoing it on the bicycle.
No, just not obeying my doctor's orders. That's all.
Yeah. I mean, what's advice for a guy like me, 52 this year? I'm just saying 52, 53, 52 this year.
You've got to keep exercising. When I say exercise, you don't make it a mission. Find something that you enjoy doing, like walking or cycling, and do it.
Yeah.
I'm still.
You left out running there. Have you got something against running?
Too much like hard work. No, I prefer cycling to running.
Okay.
And walking. Walking's great.
Yeah, it is good.
That's how I keep fit.
Except if you have to sleep on a slope up near Craddock somewhere.
I enjoyed that. I did enjoy the outdoors. Challenging myself in that way.
Yes.
I've had plenty of adventures out in the bush.
Magic. Oh, but John, thank you so much. But it's been fantastic having you on. I think we normally have 2 questions at the end. One is your proudest moment, and then the moment when something's gone completely wrong. I think we've broached that as well. But I think
I'll tell you why. It was I suppose you could say the proudest moment.
Yeah.
It was so out of the blue. Yes, there have been awards. I've got some awards in my architecture, and yes, I'm proud of that.
Yeah.
But we had played a game of rugby. It was a Saturday, and we had gone up to our favorite drinking hole, which is known as Foresters Arms, in Newlands Avenue, and we were hoping that another Port Elizabethan, Mike Gillies, he played centre for Ikeys in the same team that I was playing in.
Okay.
And we all hoped that Mike was going to make the Western Province side, which was pretty much out of reach as far as most of us were concerned. And we waited for our captain, who had waited behind to find out who was in the team for the next provincial match. And he walked up the steps and stuck his hand out to me and he said, "Well done, John, you're playing for Western Province." I mean, I nearly fell through the bloody floor. I wouldn't say I was proud. I think I was just bloody shocked.
Yeah, what an amazing.
And Mike also made it. What made it special was the
wow.
fact that it was totally unexpected. I mean,
Yes.
it really, And I played second team rugby at Grey. I wasn't that big into it. I was stretching out, losing my strength, and regathered it at varsity. And so that was a special moment that I can remember.
A proud moment.
Really.
And an embarrassing moment or a moment where something's gone completely wrong?
You come up with these awkward questions, and I've got to I'm not avoiding them. I'm not avoiding them. I've got to try. I'll keep you there for a while my brain starts to wind backwards to sort of find those moments. And we haven't got that sort of time. So I'm going
we haven't, no. No, it's fine. John, it's been absolutely fantastic. We've got a competition that we run towards the end of the show now, where we give away a case of Fitch and Leeds to whoever's watching on screen at the moment. So I'm going to put that thing on here quickly, and we can churn through the names and see who's winning. There we go. We're putting it up there now. Let's see. It's who's going to win the Fitch and Leeds for tonight. Is it Mike? Is it Greg? Is it Janine? Thea Beerschenk. Thea Beerschenk, she is the one who's winning tonight. Yeah, fantastic.
Does she drink beer?
No, it's not beer. It's actually mixes. So it's they you mix it with gin or it's normally a mixer for some gin. Yes, Grant will know. Yes,
Yeah.
Grant will know Gary DeBrain. He's our Fitch and Leeds man here. He's they sponsored the show as well as Spar, of course.
Okay.
And I know that Grant does. He did the beer as well. His beer was that Striped Horse, eh?
That's right. You got a good memory. Yeah.
Yeah, I know.
He's done a gin that's quite marvelous.
Oh, what's it called?
Malachite. It's
Malachite.
It's a Fynbos. It's a Fynbos gin.
Nice. Bit of Cape Town.
It's really brilliant. It's brilliant. Malachite.
Well, fantastic. Thank you so much, John, for coming on. It's been fantastic having you. It's a pleasure. And say hello to Shirley as well, and to the rest of the family. And lovely to have you on. Reconnect you with PE.
Yeah, no, thank you for that. I really
it's a
enjoyed
pleasure.
it. Thank you, Gino.
Good. I'm glad.
That listened in.
Yes, they've had fun. Thanks, John. Ciao. And we'll see you, ladies and gentlemen, next week on Tuesday. It's a coffee break. Sandy Coffee is coming on for Sandy's coffee break. Make sure you don't miss out on Tuesday. Always interesting, Sandy Coffee. And thank you to Spa, thank you to Fitch and Leeds, thank you to Amobia for our internet, and thank you to Fat Cats for a couple of yummy little croissants. Make sure you subscribe. Cheers. Woo!
Relax, sit down. Coming out of PE town. Drink, find a shot. Never mind your liver. Get to Gino Spot.
Gino Spot!
Get to Gino Spot.
Gino Spot!
Have a laugh, have a giggle, and exercise your middle. Have a Gino shot.
Gino Shot!
Get to Gino Spot.